Hello there. It's one thing to be creative and another to be able to utilize that creativity in delivering on your marketing goals. Thank you. I'm Aizehi Itua and I'm on a mission to awaken the consciousness of personal growth and goal-getting in professionals. Join me and my carefully selected friends as we discuss about the sweet spot between connecting creativity and marketing on LinkedIn. Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for being part of the sweet spot. This is the first of its kind, and it's literally a platform where we intend to bring in. I will be coming with my friends who are thought leaders in their space, my friends who have been doing these things and they have a track record of excellence in their space. It's an avenue where we intend to bring in two very similar elements that would enable you to optimize your skills and be the best version of yourself. Okay, I'm Aizehi Itua, and this is the maiden edition. I have with me my very good, I call her my very good friend. I've been following her for a while. Her name is Sushmita Biswas. Pardon me. She's from India, and she's a wonderful illustrator, graphic designer who is marketing inclined. And I don't think there would be a better fit for this than someone with such expertise and that has also, that experience working, as a freelancer, owning her own beat and working with brands, a whole lot of brands. So today we'll be learning on how to optimize our skills, especially when it comes to creativity and marketing. How do we identify that sweet spot and, make it happen, make the magic happen. So please feel free to let us know where you're joining in from. Would like to know your country, fill in the chat box, and then let's roll. Hello, Sushmita. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How is India?
India is good, but it's too hot in here right now. So.
Oh, really? Wow. I think that's very similar with Nigeria.
It's alright.
Great. Thank you for being part of the event today. We're looking forward to an exciting time.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. So,
absolutely.
Yes, could you? We're going to be starting off with a couple of questions, guys.
Sure.
This is going to run for 30 minutes. And then we'll have 15 minutes of questions and answers. I would like you guys to also, chip in your questions, your contributions. We'll be looking out for them, and then we'll speak to that. So, Sushmita, could you please? You've been in the game for a while, so yes. We would like to learn from your playbook. Would like to understand what your creative process is like. For young designers and creatives in their space. What's your creative process like?
I think that I have designing in a very conventional way, like other people do, as in they start from say the basics and everything, and they go to maybe design and go they have a process which is very common to other people. But when I started designing, I wasn't really thinking of learning designing in that way. I was just doing it because maybe it was an outlet for a lot of things that was going on in my life. So I started it like that. But it kind of helped me to learn maybe from YouTube, from different courses and different platforms and others that, okay, fine, I want to do these things, I want to create these things. And it was more like not only knowing that what is there, it was also for me that, okay, fine, how I can create something of my own. Also, which is beside the thing which is already existing out there, right? So it was that for me. And creative process for me, if you ask me, it is more like I have to think about the concept first. I need to understand what I want to convey. So for example, if I am thinking about conveying something related to the women empowerment or something, probably I'm not just thinking about, okay, I'm going to draw or illustrate a woman who is, working or something like that. You can just portray a woman space or something, and you can explain a lot of things to that as well. But on it just on the thought process, the color combinations, right? Yeah. Then however using it with the words and everything. So a lot of things come into play in that particular process. So you think about, first of all, the creative process, as in how the concept should be. Do I want to portray it in a minimal way, or do I want to portray it in a more detailed version, and I want to show every aspect of it in a conceptualized way, right? Or do I just want to show something through a very specific and very, second is, you are working on the project itself and how it is coming out, and then you are finalizing the project. As in, I have created something, but even when I create it for myself, it has to be something like a draft, and then I finalize, okay, I want to add something else to it because I know that it is not working out, or maybe it will look better in that particular form, right? So I work on those things, and then finally I have to choose which words I want to play with it, and then I want to relate those words so that it makes sense, and a picture itself, the image itself, then makes sense alongside that particular words that I'm playing with it, or I'm using it alongside it. So those things together, all those factors together finally give you a final product that we see in the market, or we see for any product.
Okay, I like the fact that you spoke to conceptualization, detailing, and then reiterating if need be, reviewing if need be, to ensure that you get the best picture. So having understood your creative process, how do you define creativity? What is creativity to you?
Creativity to me is, I think it can be reflected. It's not just I'm putting a color, I'm putting a template, I'm just writing down something. That is not creativity, right? You can use simple words, and you can just use the typography process or anything, not even any element or nothing alongside it, and it can still be called a design, and it can still come out perfectly as a design. But what I think what's in it is how you are working on the design itself. If you're working with the typography sector, then how are you placing the words, how are you placing the elements, the thickness, the font, the color combinations, the alignment, and there are so many things into it. So creativity can be described in different ways for different people. But what I believe in particularly is, even if it's different for different people, you have to understand that there are certain rules to the designing. You can't play an element it looks very fancy, it looks very creative, and it's a design. It is not. You have to go by the rules of the designing as well. You have to understand that it is not that what you think, okay, fine, someone has told me I have to create this design, I have placed an element, and that's it, the design is done. It's not true. So creativity is different for different people, but I always ask people that please learn the rules of the designing, please learn the basics of the design, learn the principles, and also the color combinations, and which color goes with what, and what does it signify, and how can it be explained in different ways, in different formats, for different brands as well, right? So suppose, for example, 3 brands can have the same or almost same color combination, but they might reflect completely different, what do I say, they can reflect completely different messages, a world or the audience. So you really need to understand what you are representing through your design. So that is creativity for me. Like, you have to be very precise, you have to be neat. You don't need a lot of elements always, but whatever you are doing, it has to be neat, it has to be perfect, and it has to be more of a premium size that we say, right? It has to be a premium version. It cannot be just I have done anything and it should be accepted by the client. That's what I mean by creativity.
Wonderful. So if from what I hear structure, I hear precision, and I hear expression of yourself, right? But then there should be a standard to it, right? So it should be premium, like you said, it should be premium. It should be, a standard of yourself, and that's wonderful. So one thing I've observed with a lot of creatives, as much as we want to be expressive and we don't want to be boxed, and this is us bringing it to the marketing space. Marketing is equally very structured, and we work in an ideas industry. right? Expressing it and meeting with your marketing goals and being a creative. And there tends to be that gap between creatives and marketing professionals. So first of all, I want to understand what is the relevance of a brand strategy to design. Yes, because one thing I've observed is, yes, before you go on, one thing I've observed is a lot of people just want to have wonderful designs, good designs. They flow with the aesthetics, but then the link between that design, that creative, and a brand strategy, there's often a gap. So what do you think is the relationship? How relevant do you think it is?
See, whenever we create a brand strategy or we create designs for the brand, what we want to do is we want to connect to the audiences, right?
Yes.
So suppose, for example, I have a company today, but the audiences or the people out there do not know about it, right? So how will they approach me for my services, right? So I always explain this to the client. It's like, say there is a river and you are on one side of the river and the people of the world is on the other side of the river, right? So this scenario can be explained and utilized in different ways to explain a lot of things further. So for example, if I take this scenario and if I say there is a boat in the river and I'm saying the boat is basically that brand strategy or the designing or the creativity or the marketing strategies which are being used, and it is carrying your products and the services words to the other part of that is to the other part of the world, right? And we are saying this, understand? So brand strategy is something we require because we need to explain what the company has come up with. Why have they first of all built this company? What is the storyline behind it? If the company has built something, then how are the people benefiting out of it and how are they going to get the services from them, right? Then they think about like, okay, fine, if they have connected with you, now how the sales are going to work, how many products are we selling, how many services are we providing on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, right? This constant giving out of these creatives which acts as a marketing advertisements, then it acts as a constant informative force to the audiences for which the people find it relevant, and then they connect with you and they try to know more about you. So for example, if I talk about the big brands on the business of e-commerce sites, and we talk about Flipkart and others. So it's not necessary that you are ordering something from Amazon all the time. It's not necessary, you have something that is going on always with the Amazon for your family or something like that. But you know about Amazon because of the constant ads you see, because of the constant banners, because of the constant notifications. The email message or normal text kind of information they put out to you and through different medium, right? And through different creatives. So what happens is when a person or a group of people are constantly aware of that brand, and it is then it basically is in their mind, directly or indirectly, and whenever you think about buying that particular kind of thing, you actually think about, okay, fine, I can actually get it from Nykaa, or I can get it from Amazon, or I can from Myntra. So it's just acts in a way. You are so persuasive and you are working on the strategy so much that people are constantly not thinking about it. They cannot not think about the brand. So that is how it works, that you need to work on your strategies. You need to work on how you are representing the brand and how you are putting out content and how you are putting out your creative voice and everything that is going to attract the audiences, and they will make you remember, they will make remember your brand, always in their mind. So that is the necessity that we are looking forward to.
Wow. I like how you actually brought in the relationship between creativity, designs, and brand story, and understanding what the core of the brand is about. Because I think a lot of marketing, in quote, marketing professionals do not understand the relationship between brand strategy, and knowing that a creative is actually, an element of a touch point where your clients then tend to engage with your brand through that creative. the distinction of that creative and its ability to express the core of the brand, it's very, very essential, like you clearly stated. So I want to understand, do you think there's a need for creatives to be marketing inclined, just like?
Absolutely. The creativity and the marketing go hand in hand. It doesn't work the otherwise. So previously, when it was not more of a digital world, for a digital world, what I mean, I'll explain. I mean, people were not more into social media and they were not using social media for a lot of advertisements and those kinds of things. So in that period of time, more conventional marketing analysis and strategies and those kinds of tools were used for the brands or the companies or the businesses, right? But now, not all the people are going outside and seeing the hoarding. Not all the people are going outside and seeing the banners which are put up. People are constantly on their phone and people are constantly on their laptop, and you have to utilize that factor, right?
Yeah.
If I'm on something and if I'm using it constantly, and if I don't see those ads, then how am I going to be aware of these things? So you have to utilize those things and make sure that you get benefit of it. So if I am using the designing and the marketing strategies together, what happens is designing basically, or the creatives in that case, if you want to say it in that way, it is a form of visual thing through which the people get connected, right? When you see a movie, sometimes you might forget the lines, but you remember the scene. It is something like that. I'm not saying that you don't remember the lines, but a lot of times that you recall the. But and if it's a 2 hours movie and you can see the entire movie and you will probably remember majority of it. But if you read a book, for the first time, you might not remember the majority of it because of the visual thing. Because the visual thing brings a plus point to the strategies and the companies. So whenever you create those designs and you put it out, people know and they catch it. I saw that Amazon ad. I saw the logo. I might not remember. When someone asks me, I'll recommend, you know what, you can get it from there. So that they work hand in hand. You cannot just apply the marketing strategies right now in social media and not do content creation, not do content writing, not do designing, and just expect that clients are going to come to me. You cannot just put up a sales poster, I'm just providing these services, just come to me. It doesn't work like that. You have to make sure that what else you're providing, the world is evolving in different ways. It is evolving in different fields. People have to accept it, the companies have to accept it, and they have to evolve as well. Because otherwise, the other companies who are actually stepping forward and taking those initiatives, they will be gaining more benefit from the entire process than the people, which companies might be existing for a long time and they're very good companies, but might find it as a, not a source of income because they did not do all the things that was required to be done in that particular time frame, right? So people has to understand that content writing, content events, creating informative contents, creating designs related to your brand, explaining the things that what you do, not just a sales poster, not just what you are providing, but the different kinds of things that you can do around your brand and your businesses make a very important factor, because you are applying those things and you are applying the marketing strategies. Say SEO. I'm just talking about, in this case, just the digital marketing and all those things. SEO. Say social media management. Say the other kinds of forms of engagements that you want to do, say paid collaborations or unpaid or whatever it is. Nothing is going to work if there is not a consistency of all the things that you are bringing to the table. So there is a lot of things that works into this sector, but one has to understand that you have to take this step, because otherwise you will be the one who will be left behind. The other companies will go forward.
Evolve with time. Technology is moving, technology is advancing, and creativity is also helping in enhancing the experiences of brand and how they communicate or engage with clients as well. So very, very important. Okay, so now that was, in fact, you answered, I think, 2 questions in one, and that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, understanding how creativity and marketing plays, how do you then interpret your brief? How do you address your brief? That's the first question. Also, how do you manage difficult clients? It's very important for us to know.
Okay. So for the brief, what I do is I always have a standard way of working with the clients. May it be a business, I mean, may it be a company, a brand, or an individual client. It can be anything for me in that case. But I need a set of questions that I need to be answered so that I know that what they are looking forward to. Okay. So think about in this way. I ask the questions like, what are your target audiences? What are you aiming for? Tell me your references. Share me those references. Like, what can I search and what can I see and what can I find that okay, that is relevant to your company and how I can that we are working on, right? Then we talk about the budget. Then we talk about deadline. Then we talk about drafts, revisions. It is very, very important that you make these things clear beforehand you start working. Clients can be very difficult. They can be very, manageable as well, right? There are two different kinds of clients. But you have to understand that how you are able to, first of all, make it happen or not, right? There can be clients for me which I would like to take up because of the projects. But if I feel to some extent that this person is very difficult to even argue with reasonably, then I can't work with that person. It is just not possible, right? I'm wasting my time. I would rather take up another client. So people have this thing that you have to take up every client, don't let go of anything, and just take up every project. You have to make sure that what do you want to do? Like, are you comfortable taking this project? If you're comfortable and if you think that yes, the client and you has hit it off and they're good people and you know how to work and they will understand your reasons, and if you are making different versions of what they require, then they would understand. You will be able to explain it. Then it is manageable. You can do it. Difficult clients is when you have to do as per them, and that is also fine. So someone tells you have done a splendid job, but what happens is this is not what we want. We want something else completely different, but they actually wanted the same thing that you made, right? So there can be clients like this, but then at that moment you have to basically think about two things. One is, if I'm doing it because I wanted to do it, or did I do it because I wanted to pay my bills? It's as simple as that. If you wanted to pay your bills, then it's fine. Then you have to suck it up and what they want. Even if it looks bad, but this is what the client likes, you have to give them, because at last you have to satisfy the client's requirements, right? So you cannot argue with them all the time. They wouldn't understand a lot of times that designing is not just placing this element right away like here, but they would want us to do that. So what you can do is you can just improvise a little bit on that maybe, and try to give a little better version of what he's also satisfied and you're also satisfied with concept of designing and your work. So yeah, it really is difficult for a lot of clients, but you just have to choose that if I want to manage it or if I not want to manage it. If I want to manage it, then how I'm going to go with it. That's it. That's the basic.
So of everything you said, good stuff you said, one thing that stood out for me is you don't have to work with everyone, right? Especially when it gets really difficult. Yeah, but
right.
At what point will the creative get to that, or do you think the creative should actually start off from the beginning, or probably get a couple of gigs and all that before you then start to turn down briefs? At what point do you think creatives should get to before they turn down some briefs?
To be honest, I think it depends on my skill set. Honestly. So suppose, for example, anytime a client asked me something that is related to my client, I took it because I knew that I'll be able to provide it. But if I felt that this is something that I can't do, this is not in my skill set, I wouldn't do it.
Wow.
But if this is something that I can learn and I can improvise and I can work on it, then I'll take it. But there are other times that I take breaks from the work, right? So suppose I've been working for a long time and I haven't been able to I don't take it so much often, but in terms of break, I mean that I would like to just sit with myself, watch movies, watch series, not think about work maybe for some time, or go out, or whatever it is. Okay. So in that time period, even if it's something that I do not pick up the work. I just don't, because I need that break for myself. I need to freshen up my brain basically, because otherwise I can't work. Creative process is a very difficult process. A lot of people don't understand. Constantly thinking of ideas. It's always on in your mind. Sometimes it's annoying, but it is very helpful at the times as well. But sometimes you have to shut down and you have to, think about other stuff, because otherwise it gets so hectic that you won't be able to give a fresh perspective to the new work that is going to come up to you, right? So it is required that you work on those things for that.
How do you relax? You made a statement. You said, creativity can be exhausting. Sometimes. So how do you escape and then come back to be in that zone again, to be creative, to rekindle that creative juice in you? How do you do that?
So, okay, I am actually a very lazy person if I don't work. Okay, so I'm always working. It is kind of a bit, why have to do it? So if I do not work for a single day, I feel that I'm wasting my time. So what I do is, I usually, sometimes when I get to go on the weekends, I go out and I spend the entire day. I am not on my phone. I'm with my friends, or with my partner, or with my sister, or with my, I don't know, family or relatives or whatever it is, or even alone. Oh, another thing that I do is on self-pits. Self-pits is something that you need to do, and I really encourage people to do it, because when you are out with someone else, it's not necessarily you are being yourself all the time. But you need to go out alone. You need to explore things. You might like certain things and you might want to explore certain things, but you won't be able to do it with other people, even with your partner or boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever it is, right? It's not always possible. There are some zones that you need to be there and you need to figure out what things are. Maybe some things are going on in your mind and you need to work on those things. So in those particular times, you really need to go alone. Just sit at maybe any restaurant, have a good meal, think about the stuff. No one is going to tell you, you have had your food, you have to get out or something, right? There is nothing like that. So you can just sit down and you can just think about stuff. You can have a great day. You can go to the, I don't know, whatever you like, bookstores, or like I don't know, any kind of kids section or anything, that whatever makes you feel happy. I usually buy ice cream. I usually go to the toy sections and everything, because of the cuddly things and all over there. Then I go to the movies. I watch series. I binge watch series and all at one go. I wouldn't pick up the calls. I wouldn't reply to the messages. I wouldn't do anything. But that is not for a long time. Suppose on a Saturday, if I went out, I'll probably working the entire night, because otherwise my brain basically works like I did not do my work and I wasted a day. So it's kind of complicated for me, but it doesn't have to be for other people. You can take the day off, you can take the weekend off, you can go out, you can have fun, and it is required. A lot of the times people do not go out, they do not celebrate, just not a good thing to do. They wait for the bigger things to happen. You know what, I'll get a promotion and then I'll celebrate. It's not good. If you have done something good, like you worked on a project, you can turn out great, just go and have a pizza. Maybe just go and have something, I don't know, any kind of food or anything, or just do something that makes you happy. Even for half an hour, maybe watch something or anything like that you appreciate yourself. Because if you don't do these things, you are not motivating yourself. And if you don't have those motivation, you are not going to be able to work for a long time. It is very, very important to do that. So these kinds of small achievements to be celebrated, taking a break once in a while, or going out alone just to explore these kinds of different variations of these kinds of variations of things in which way you want to relax and get things off your mind is very, very important, because then you can work more effectively for a longer period of time, right? And you can produce more to your work.
I hear a lot of escape. I hear a lot of, and you do it a lot with your ice cream and your, how you escape with friends. And that's beautiful, because it's very important, that you take care of yourself, to be the best version of yourself. I think I say that a lot. So I would go a bit personal, and by personal, it's watching your growth. You have over 30,000 followers on LinkedIn. So I'm going somewhere with this. And then on Instagram, you have over 15,000 on your water platform and your personal page, together, right? What's the importance of building a personal brand as a creative and as a marketing professional? What's the importance?
Okay.
How important is it rather?
Okay. I'll answer it in two different parts with respect to me and in general. Okay. So for me, why I wanted to do this personal branding and creating my own profile is because I wanted to know how much I can push myself. I mean, what else I can do? How farther can I go? And a lot of people over the time told me that why don't you set up a company, But company has not been my priority. What my priority has been is if I'm being talented enough, if I'm being intelligent enough, and how much my growth is. And that I can explain only through my personal branding. When I'm talking about a company, there are a lot of things under it. There are a lot of people if I want to hire. What is the growth of your company? How did it work? Is it working or not? Is it popular or not? I'm not thinking about those stuff. I'm thinking about if I'm being able to do it or not. If I'm being able to do it, the people are gonna come to me and they're gonna ask for my service. I wouldn't have to think about the promotion of the company in that way. Now, we do not like to move forward and say, you know what, I'm good at it, right? Yeah, I'm fine. I don't know. Those are the things people usually say, and they wouldn't want to put their, front feet, and they would be like, I can do this or whatever it is. But the thing is, people need to step forward and they need to show, yes, I'm capable of doing this. Yes, I'm good at it. Yes, see my work. Because if you don't do those things, then how will the recruiters or the businesses or the companies who are actually hiring will know about you? You can't be just, I'm very good at it and that's it. They won't know about you. You have to have your presence there. You have to show constantly that if you want to hire me, then what is the reason behind it, right? So this sense of personal branding is not because I have to in my life, but it is more because you want to push yourself and see how much further you can go. And the people needs to know that if you're doing a good job, then how they can utilize you or hire you for your services for the benefit of their company, right? So this kind of thing is very, very important. When you have social media presence, when you have a personal branding, when you have this kind of strategies and everything that you can work on, it helps the people find you. That I have seen, for example, there are so many talented people out there, but they're not getting proper work because of these reasons. They're not building their profile. They're not building their portfolio. They are not working on their strategies. They are not working on the things that is going on in the industry. The research is a very, very important part of the industry work. If you don't know how the industry works, if you don't know how the platforms work, or communicate to the people, it's going to be very difficult for you. Being talented is not the only thing that we require in the industry right now. So many factors come into play, and they together make you that person fit for that role, right? So personal branding and these kinds of things, you need to know aside from your particular work that you do, because they will bring you clients to you. That's the baseline for that. Right?
Definitely. Thank you very much, Sushmita. It's beautiful enough for us to now, I think it's coming from you, knowing how well you've been able to attract clients and build your following over time. Personal branding should not be, underrated. And that, to me, is a sweet spot. You're creative and you've been able to market yourself well enough to identify how to utilize this to optimize your skills and your presence and get whatever you want to get. So guys, this is a direct message from Sushmita.
Sure.
The first Sweet Spot series. Other Sweet Spot series will be having subsequent guys, thought leaders like Sushmita Biswas, who has come to share her own insights, her own thoughts, and all that about creativity and as a creative person. Please feel free to follow her. Trust me, you can't get enough followers. Follow me and follow the platform, right? And let's continue to deliver excellence in our space. Thank you very much, Sushmita. Any final words from you?
I think I'll just say that people who are in this field, like if you're in the designing, marketing, or any other field, do not just work for only the companies, work for yourself as well. As in, put in consistent work for yourself is very, very important, because if you don't grow, then at one time you hide because you have those particular skill sets. So just work on yourself as well alongside the client's work, so that you know that you are growing as much as the company is, right? Then you will be able to take up more jobs and you will be able to do much more in your own field as well.